Tom Vassell.
I'm Z Garcia. What's happening, folks? Sam Huey.
2015 is coming to a close, and today we're doing our top 10 games of 2015. Now, 2015 was a phenomenal year for games, many great games. I sadly had to cross.
Sadly?
I sadly had to cross games off my top 10, because they were pushed out. But it was pretty cool.
It was a slam dunk year.
Now, I feel like we're going to have some crossover here.
That's possible.
Not only do I feel pretty strongly that I know these guys, so I actually picked your top 10 lists. Not the order. I just picked 10 games for Sam.
Are you serious?
And 10 games for you. We're gonna see. We're gonna see how correct I was in that regard.
All right.
So, but I do think we'll have at least. How many games did I put here? That we'll have one game that's on all of our lists, and that we will cross over at least 5 other games, at least between 2 of us.
Wow. Okay.
At least.
I'm excited for
Are you
this.
ready? Here we go.
Number 10.
All right, my number 10 is a game. We're doing game list now, right? Yeah, okay.
Yes.
Okay, my number 10 is a game that is actually you could call it a dumbed down version of an original game that was based around the journeys of Lewis and Clark, and that is a game called Discoveries. Was that on your list?
No, I considered it for you,
Right,
though.
sucker?
I considered it for you, but I didn't think it'd make your top 10.
No, it made my top 10. I really enjoyed this game. I love dice rolling as a mechanic. It's just, it provides for the chaos factor in a very neat, tactile, pleasant way. So Discoveries was interesting enough for me in that respect, but then on top of that, it has great artwork. It does have cool mechanisms behind it, trying to get through the mountains and the rivers and talking with the natives and that type of stuff. So it was hands down one of my favorite games of this year. My number 10, Discoveries, the Journals of Lewis and Clark.
All right.
You played with me the first time we played.
That's right, and we played it wrong.
That's right.
All right. My number 10 is a deck building game, a cooperative one from Cool Mini or Not, Xenoshift. Xenoshift is...
So a kind of car, apparently.
No, Xenoshift I really enjoyed. I like cooperative games anyway, but this one really felt like Starship Troopers. Or at least like Starship Troopers the movie.
Yeah.
With the waves of aliens coming in and you're fighting them off. I really like it for a couple reasons. One, I feel it's very cooperative. You really have to work with the other players. You can't just do your own thing. And the artwork is cool. The theme is strong. There's no miniatures in it from Cool Mini or Not, and yet I thought it was a good, solid game from them. A lot of fun. This pushed, man, this was tough for number 10, but that's a Xenoshift from Cool Mini or Not.
I knew that one was going to be on your list.
My number 10 is the smallest game on my list by far, actually. And this is a little 2-player card game called Tides of Time.
Ching! One correct!
Tides of Time is a micro game. It's got about 18 cards. You are drafting those cards, trying to get in your opponent's head, deny them the cards you think they want. And it's simple, but it starts to make a nice mixture with really basic components. Again, it's symbology and a couple of powers, but you start to figure out, okay, I really don't want my opponent here to get this card, so I'm going to just remove that one from the deck for the next round, or I'm going to keep this and play it, and I want that symbol, so I'm hoping that... And it's neat. I really enjoyed it. I've played it a bunch, and while it's not a game... Yeah, I've played it a lot, and while it's not a game that I think is, infinitely replayable by any means, the more I play it, the more I have found subtle nuances in it. So that's my number 10, Tides of Time. Nice little card game for 2 players.
I like how it is a micro game, but it doesn't look like a micro game. Like, there's a lot of micro games that are out
it uses
there.
big cards.
Yeah, but there's a lot of micro games out there that just look chintzy. It's like they give you just a handful of stuff. Okay, have fun. No, this one actually has great artwork on it. The cards are all really nice looking and good quality.
Yeah, yeah. This
This is my kind of micro game. This made my short list.
Cool.
Wow.
Number 9.
My number 9 is a game from the same designer as the guy who did Police Precinct, and that is Champions of Midgard. Cool. I like worker placement games a lot. I like Vikings, especially fake Viking stuff, you know, the mythological stuff behind it.
Right.
And this one combines them. This is a good successor in a sense. If you like Lords of Waterdeep, I feel this does the same similar thing. It especially has dice. I like rolling the dice. There's ways to mitigate, you know, what you roll. I just feel there's a lot there. It's a pretty cool package. I think this is one that I'm not seeing as much love for from the general gaming public, which surprises me because I think it's a really excellent game, but highly fun. A good solid middleweight Euro game that's Champions of Midgard.
Yeah, good worker placement in there too.
Yep.
All right, my number 9 is a game that I know Sam likes because I'm the one who showed it to him and he liked it, but I like it even more than he did, and this is Karuba. Karuba from Haba is
Wow,
my number 9.
that hit your top 10.
It hit my top 10 because I've had lots of success with it, and every time I bring it out, I enjoy how quick and beautiful and simple it is, yet how engaging it is. And I always have a good time, no matter who I'm playing with. I've played with kids, I've played with 6-year-olds, I've played all the way to my folks, and everybody in between enjoys it. And I always have a good time with it. Nice, simple tile-laying game, a little bit puzzly, a little bit solitaire ultimately, but if you're okay with that, you're going to enjoy this game. You know, if you like Carcassonne and you don't care about the interaction, like messing people over and such, you're going to like this game. Really pretty stuff, very simple. Karuba, love it. Nice.
I'm going to have to try
game.
this one because the other two Haba games are amazing.
Yeah, I'm usually not too on board with games that have a solitaire nature to it, where it's just you're doing your own thing and you're not really interacting with anybody else.
Right.
But this one's so light and quick that I don't care.
Right.
It's very fast, and that's what I like about it. All right, my number 9 is a game that was also taught to me by Z.
I brought him all the goodies this year.
We brought.
I think he's converting you.
We no. I enjoyed.
Is it a card game, Sam?
I enjoyed this. No, not kind of, sort of.
Yes. Yes.
I enjoyed this game's predecessor before this game came out. And this game's predecessor actually has a way for you to play it 2-player. But it wasn't good enough. So they came out with a 2-player version of the base game, and they called it Seven Wonders Duel. And I like this game a lot.
Oh.
So is that on there?
I did not put that on for you, no.
I'm winning.
I did not think you liked it that much.
No, I enjoy it very much. And the reason I enjoy it very much is because it carries the same feeling as the base game does, the original game. It carries all of the tension over. It carries all of the thought process that has to go into building whatever strategy that you're taking. All of that comes in, but it keeps it very light and very simple in that 2-player format. And that's what I enjoyed a lot about it, is that you have the same feeling as that base game of 5 people, but it's just a 2-player game. That's really hard to do, to have a 2-player game encompass that same idea as a regular multiplayer game. So that's Seven Wonders Duel, my number 9.
All right.
Number 8.
All right, my number 8 is a game that I know is going to show up on Sam's list. I'm pretty sure it's going to show up on Tom's list, just much higher. But I enjoyed it quite a bit myself. My number 8 is Blood Rage. And
Wow,
Blood Rage,
I did not put that for you. I did not think you liked it that much.
I like it. It's
Wow.
one of those.
Man, now we know we're there, right?
It's an outlier for me, for sure, and I mean by that my typical style of game. But it takes genres that I enjoy and melts them into a nice combination, because it's not out and out Ameritrash, it's not out and out Euro, but it has a little bit of all those things. It's got cool miniatures, which again don't normally blow my hair back if there was any, but I do enjoy them.
Oh, your beard.
My beard back. But I enjoy cool miniatures, you know. I enjoy a nice theme. I'd like this rah, and come and clash. I just also enjoy cool drafting mechanisms. And I enjoy getting in your opponent's head with simultaneous card play. And all of these things are in this game. This game really is an amalgamation of some amazing design choices and concepts that rises to the top. And it will rise to the top even more with these two guys.
You don't know that.
Thinking. So my number 8, Blood Rage. If you want a big epic game this year, guys, Blood Rage is it.
I forgot to include it in my list.
There you go.
All right, so I'm 1 for 3 with you. I'm not very good. Come on, Sam. I need this one.
All right. My number, what is it? 8?
That's right.
All right, my number 8 is a game that I actually forgot came out this year because it came out at the beginning of the year, and it kind of got lost in the shuffle there a little bit. And it's not on there, is it?
I don't think so.
It's a game by
I don't know what it is yet.
Emerson Matsuuchi.
Oh.
Spectre Ops.
Okay, yes, I definitely have that for
Okay,
you.
good.
Got it.
Spectre Ops is a very cool hidden movement deduction game where one guy is trying to infiltrate and complete a certain number of missions in this big warehouse that's full of stuff. And you have to kind of sneak around and accomplish all of these missions. But at the same time, you have a group of people that are trying to stop you, and they're trying to beat the crud out of you, and you're trying to make it to where they can't even see you. And it's just really interesting because it's a team game. It's not really a co-op game because you have one person that is the infiltrator, and you have the other people who are acting as a team against you. Really great, fun time. Very simple to play. Usually takes around 30-45 minutes.
Unless Z's playing.
Yeah, that's true.
What are you talking about? I did not go slowly when I played.
You just don't think very well.
That's
You don't like this game.
No, I did not like it. No.
He doesn't. But it's basically like a Fury of Dracula light. And that's what I really enjoy about it. It has the same feeling the Fury of Dracula has without all of the extra fluff that comes with Fury of Dracula, which I love.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong. But this is a quick study. Same kind of game. Spectre Ops.
Yeah, this was 13 for me.
Very popular game this year.
I really liked it. My number 8 was already said by Sam, and that is Seven Wonders Duel.
Yeah.
I like Seven Wonders, and Seven Wonders has been really growing on me, especially with the latest expansions.
Right.
So I play it more and more, but Seven Wonders Duel I liked right out the gate.
Yeah.
Just the alternate victory conditions, I'm a big sucker for that. And it feels so tight, and the drafting, I wondered how drafting with 2 players works, and this on the table, pull one, flip other cards over, that's amazing. I want to see that used in other games. I liked it that much. So, that's fun. Everything else Sam said. Seven Wonders Duel.
Very cool.
Number 7.
My number 7 is a Euro game, through and through Euro game, with a really cool theme, and this is Shakespeare. Shakespeare, you got me?
I did. I know you like that one a lot.
Shakespeare is a beautiful game that plays with. It has a lot of intricacies in there, and it's. I would say it's like a mid-weight Euro game, but it has a real nice flow to it. It does not bog down with any of your choices. If you want to, and the idea is you're rehearsing and putting on a play, but if you want to hire a new seamstress, you hire new seamstress. If you want to build part of the set, boom, you build part of the set. And so it's nothing's complicated, you know? There's a lot of choices, but nothing takes 4 steps. You just get the thing you want. And I really like that it's your actions, the farther the game goes along, become more and more different from the other player's actions because you are getting characters that give you that action, and nobody else can take that action. Real clean design, very solid. Again, a beautiful game, which is not lost on me because I'm a sucker for good-looking games. Shakespeare was a standout Euro game this year for me, and that put it at number 7 on my list.
I love Shakespeare, and it just shows what a good year it is when that didn't even have a chance of making my top 10.
Yeah.
But I still liked it a lot. My number 7 is on neither one of their lists. I know this, but I still like it, and that's Flick 'em Up. The flicking Western game. I love Western games. That's a theme that just really appeals to me. And I love the flicking, which is, I don't know that I've got many flicking games that don't make it to my collection. I just keep them all, I think. But I really enjoy Flick 'em Up. I feel like it brings out the theme stronger than most games. You know, you start talking cowboy and the movies, you know, the showdowns, just a lot of fun. It works with big groups of people. I'm really excited about the deluxe version they're making.
They're making a deluxe version.
You know those giant versions at conventions?
Oh,
they're going to sell those. Yeah.
Wow.
The only problem with those giant versions
Space.
is my fingers hurt after hitting those discs.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Well, it just goes to show you what an interesting and diverse year it was when we've got Euro games and Ameritrash and a dexterity game, and we're up to 7s, right? I mean, that's insane.
All right. Well, what's your 7?
Cool. All right, my number 7. You better have this on your list.
You scare me because
Tell you what though, it barely made my list because some of the component quality was not quite there. But I enjoyed the game so much that I overlooked that. And it's a new game by Richard Borg. Wow.
The Great War?
You don't know me.
the Great War.
Yeah, the Great War.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, you haven't been like. You have not been like raving about that game. You
I know-
played it, you reviewed it, and then I haven't heard about it since.
I understand that, but I mean, I don't get to play it that often because I'm always playing this other stuff that you guys got.
Okay, well, no, that's
but
cool.
mean,
I just didn't think
I
you liked it
really
that much.
enjoyed- Oh no, I do.
Did you keep it?
Yeah, it's
Oh.
on my shelf at home.
Okay. Well, I didn't know that. Never come over to your
I love
house.
the Command and
You
Conquer
never
system.
invite me over, man. I never-
Yes, I do. Shut up.
No, I'm being Tom.
I
That's
love the
actually
Command and
true.
Color system. I love Richard Borg. The games that he has come out for the most part. I haven't played all of them, so that's why I said them for the most part. But the Great War is Command and Color system for World War One. And unless you really want to get into the heavy-handed war games that use the little cardboard chits, there just aren't very many choices out there for World War One games.
Right.
So that was one of the reasons why I was really pumped about this game coming out. And it just so happens that it's a really fun game on top of that. It's probably a closer... It probably takes a step away from Memoir 44 and a little bit closer to Battlelore and the actual gameplay version of it and what you can do during your turns, which is also a cool thing. Not that I am disliking Memoir more nowadays. I'm not. But it's just, there's the tendency to think it's another war game. It's going to be like Memoir 44. And it actually, there's similarities. It's the same system, but it's actually a little bit closer to Battlelore and how you actually play. So I really enjoyed it. It was probably one of the shoe-ins for my list, and then it fell where it did as I was going through them. But that's The Great War.
All right.
Number 6.
My number 6 is another game that's not on either one of these guys' lists, but I love it. Another deck builder and another topic I like a lot, which is baseball. Baseball Highlights 2045 from Mike Fitzgerald. I like it's a very simple game. You first play, it's basically like almost a advanced game of war. I play this card, you play that card, we see what happens, but then I buy some cards. And now I have a different deck, and you have a different deck, and now we play again. And it really works well. It works well in a tournament setting. It works well when 4 people can play. They play against each other, then they cross, and that works well. It seems to be having a groundswell of support at every convention I go to.
Yes.
Now, Mike Fitzgerald is part of that because he's really pushing the game.
Yeah.
Right.
But, people are really enjoying it. I think even if you don't like baseball, you'll like it. And if you like baseball, and you can get over the fact that there are now cyborgs playing in baseball, you'll also enjoy it. I very much really enjoy this one. Baseball Highlights 2045.
All right. My number 6 is a game that I was introduced to by the designer at Gen Con. And I told these guys when they went to Essen, if you don't bring me any games back from Essen, bring me this one game. What was it?
Oh, why did I not think of this for you?
You don't know.
Well, we're going to talk
knew
about
it.
some of these games
I mean,
you didn't put in
I
your
knew-
top 10 because
Okay.
I knew this was going to be on it.
this one, when I went through the list, when I was going through all the games that came out in 2015, this one is very low ranked at this point because it's been very few people
It's
played it.
new.
Right. That's why I didn't see it.
Well, I definitely saw it. It's definitely going on my list. It was right in front of me on the shelf.
And it is
Raptor.
okay.
By Bruno Cathala and Bruno Fedudi. It's a really cool two-player game where one person takes scientists, the other person takes a family of raptors, and the raptors are trying to get their babies to safety while the scientists are trying to capture those babies to protect them and coddle them and run experiments on them and clip their nails and stuff like that. Yeah. So it's a really neat two-player card hand management game. Really enjoyed it. That's Raptor. My number 6.
Cool.
All right, Z, I need you to give me one here.
Here we go. My number 6 is, you should get this. I've talked about this quite a bit. This is a co-op game with a really cool theme, very good look to it. The game is called Dead Men Tell No Tales. And in it, you are pirates boarding a ship that is burning around you and trying to grab loot and get out of there. However, it's not just a regular old ship that's burning, because that's not crazy enough. There's also the undead on the ship who are trying to stop you. You got to fight them, etc. It's got a nice amount of stuff going on. At times, just a little too much stuff. But this is one of those games that I played, and then I played, and then I played, and every time I played, I had to fix just like one thing I did wrong the last time. So
Yeah, that's the truth of it.
It is.
If you're playing this game the first time, I can almost guarantee you played some rule wrong.
something, even if it's a minor thing, but it is a very engaging game. It's a good-looking game, fun, well put together, great theme, and I'm a sucker for co-ops anyway. So, my number 6, Dead Men Tell No Tales. Was it on your list?
It was not, because I wouldn't even if I didn't think of it, but even if I had thought of it, I would not have picked it because I wouldn't have thought it made your top 10. All right?
Short list.
Number 5.
My number 5 is a game that's probably one that you picked for me.
I hope so. I mean, I've been doing really badly so far.
Batting average is real low right now.
It is a game put out by Gray Fox Games and
Okay.
has replaced
Good.
Lords of Waterdeep for me completely. I have no desire to go back and play Lords of Waterdeep, even with the expansion, and that is Champions of Midgard. You guys know that I'm a sucker for Viking-themed games. I even like some really dry games that have the Viking theme on it, just because the Viking theme, it's like putting ketchup on something that just doesn't taste very well. Just covers it up and makes it go down a little bit
Palatable,
better.
yeah.
A spoonful of sugar. All that
Ketchup?
jazz. Yeah, you don't put ketchup on stuff to make it, I mean, like really
Like-
dry meat or something like that?
Yeah, like bad ice cream, you put ketchup on it.
Ice cream? No, I wouldn't go that far.
No, ketchup is like it. No, barbecue sauce, steak sauce, hot sauce.
Hey, just fill in whatever sauce you want to talk about. But
All right, just
the idea here is that
ketchup is
Viking
for
Thieves
kids.
for me is like a dead ringer. Now, not always though, because there are some Viking themes that came out this year that didn't even come close to making my list because they were kind of boring. But Champions of Midgard is the exact opposite of that. It takes all of the good stuff in Lords of Waterdeep and just puts it in a much more fun, adds dice rolling, just so much more fun than Lords of Waterdeep. Couldn't not include this one on my list. Champions of Midgard, my number 5.
Cool. My number 5 is a game that Sam has already mentioned, and this is Raptor.
Yeah.
Raptor is an awesome...
Wow.
This is going to be on your list.
Yeah.
You actually said it wasn't going to be on your
When did
top.
I say that?
We were talking about Raptor the other day, and we were talking about, something, how it was going to be best of the year or something like that, and you were hemming and hawing about it and how
I
it would
don't
never
know.
be.
Yeah, no, I knew.
I don't think it's honestly, guys. I don't think it's going to make any best of the year list
Well,
other
I
than
don't
your
think
two.
so.
I think.
Yeah, that might be the case.
Oh no, Dan King. He loves Bruno Cathala. His list is just a bunch of Bruno
Because we're
Cathala
right
games.
and they're wrong.
Well, again, for my sort of tastes, I like two-player games. I like two-player games that look good. I like two-player games that are asymmetrical. And this is checking off all of these boxes. It's a little abstract, and I like abstract games anyway, So, yeah, this, for me, hits on a lot of cylinders, and I really enjoyed it. It flowed well. It's got a nice getting your opponent's head thing going on. That, as I said before, in Tides of Time, works for me, especially in a two-player game. And it's got a cool theme on top of all that, with the raptors and the scientists and
it works.
shooting fire in the jungle and trying to trap, and it's
Yeah.
great.
It's actually a pasted on theme that's actually better than the original theme that they wanted.
Right. And you get into the theme, even though the game is fairly abstract in its play.
Right.
So my number 5, Raptor. It's been a good year for 2-player games. What can I say?
Yeah.
That's my number 5.
My number 5 came out. A couple copies were released in 2014, but essentially its release was 2015, so we are counting it as a 2015 game. It is the sequel, I guess, to Race for the Galaxy, and that is Roll for the Galaxy. Roll for the Galaxy. I love Race for the Galaxy, and I'll still gladly play it. But every time I play Race for the Galaxy, I think, Roll for the Galaxy is pretty fun. It really is. I mean, we just played it recently, and I just had a great time playing that game. I like the rolling of dice, the manipulating of the dice, and you have dice in your cup, and there's different colored dice. There's tons of dice in the game, and then it still has that space exploration feel. I'm still kind of, I guess I'd say I like Roll better than Race, although I do like the new expansion for Race. But it's close.
Hands down.
But for me, one of the best games of the year. Really enjoyed this one, and that's Roll for the Galaxy.
Number 4.
All right, my number 4 is probably one that you'll have marked down.
You keep
for
saying this, and I keep not having them.
You missed and whiffing.
It's a game by Cool Mini or Not that has huge ships lined next to each other, and the crews from those two ships are just knocking each other over.
Yeah, I put this down for Sam.
Rum and Bones is a really fun, fast dice chucking game that has some interesting mechanics in it. The whole, I guess, I don't know what you call it. It's an engine mechanic where the crew, the basic crew of the ships, are like auto moving, and you know where they're going to be, you know how they're going to move, and all that kind of stuff. But on top of that, you're moving your champions, so to speak, on your side, and your opponent's using his champions, and they're bobbing and weaving and coming in through all of those other crew members. And just reminds me of all of those battle scenes in movies like Pirates of the Caribbean and
Where the extras in the back are just
where you
fighting
see
like that.
And you see that's like the backdrop, and then all of the champions and stuff, they're just fighting. So I love this game. Has great miniatures. I haven't even thought about painting them yet because there's just a lot of them in the game. But they are definitely worthy of paint, that's for sure. But it's just a great game. Rum and Bones, my number 4.
Cool.
Okay, well, that was my number 14, but I definitely figured, by the way, that's the farthest I went, was 14. I definitely thought that would be on Sam's.
Yeah.
My number 4 is Star Wars Armada.
Ooh.
I really, really enjoy this game. And as much as I like X-Wing, X-Wing is a very fun game, I would rather play Armada. I like the idea of the big ships moving around and kind of broadsiding each other, and then little fighter ships going around and causing stuff. And man, I have not yet got Wave 2 yet, but it looks so good. I need the Millennium Falcon and the Star Destroyers in my mix, and the Hope 1, and I'm very excited. But even without that, I think it's a very solid game. I'm hoping it has legs, but you know what? Even if it doesn't, let's say this is all they ever released, I think we're fine.
Yeah.
They released all the coolest ships, the Star Wars destroyers, and the X-Wings and Y-Wings and B-Wings and all that nonsense. So pretty cool. A lot of fun. I liked it more than I thought, which is why it's all the way up to number 4. I think my top 3 are pretty obvious, but number 4 was Star Wars Armada.
That was top 15 for me as well.
Oh well.
Yeah, I thought when he said it, I figured it'd be on your list.
I thought that was a top 10 for you, but all right.
I'm going to have to figure out what your top 3 are going to be here. I don't know.
Who, me?
All right, no, for both of you, I guess. Yeah, you said yours is pretty obvious. I think so. Sam's, I can't quite tell.
No, because I don't think
There's
Sam.
one on his, the other...
No, we don't. Dude, I know. I know you're number 1. It's okay. Whatever.
All
All right, go ahead.
Here we go. My number 4.
Give me a point.
My number 4. I doubt it. This came out earlier this year. I think most people forgot about it. And my number 4 is Elysium.
Yeah!
All right.
Called that one.
Elysium is a card game that's sort of a drafting game. You're taking cards from the middle of the table anyway, and then making sets with them, and all of those things that I tend to like in games. But it's got a cool theme, and it's got a really interesting resource management to it, in which you have these colored pillars that are resources required for you to take these cards. So you must, have your black pillar and your red pillar to take this one card. But then when you do take that card, you have to spend a pillar, any of them. So you can really look ahead and see what's left and figure out what pillar you won't need and spend that one. And there's this interesting secondary layer to that in which you must take a place card, so first, second, third, fourth place, and that takes a pillar. And you got to be careful you don't spend the pillar you're going to need for that. Very cool. And then there's some scoring, some interesting, set placement and things like that. Gorgeous game. Nice, quick, speed to it. But a great amount of turn angst. By that I mean, please don't take that card I need.
Yes.
Don't take that card. Don't take that card. Oh, you took it. What am I going to do now?
You did it again.
So I really like that in my games.
Again?
Yeah, you bet. My number 4, Elysium. Good card game.
Yeah.
Number 3.
There are some reviewers out there who will probably scoff at my list for me daring to put my number 3 as low as I did, even though I think 3. In any other year, this 3 would have been number 1. This is probably the biggest game release that came out this year, and that's Pandemic Legacy. Pandemic Legacy was an amazing experience. Played through it. We played 17 games, which is, I think, almost the most I've played any game this year.
No, I think we played Spyfall more than that.
Yeah, that's true. Okay. Not counting Spyfall, which we played 2,378 times. But I mean, the bigger style games. And that's because I want to play through the campaign. I like Pandemic a lot, not as much as Z does, obviously, but the Legacy thing I love. And adding them together, peanut butter and jelly. Or peanut butter and chocolate, I would say. Just amazing. It was a fun experience all the way through. If you watch our top 10 gaming experiences, this was one of mine. But the gameplay itself was really fun, and they come out Pandemic Legacy 2, I'm there. Right away. Not even a question. That's much I liked it.
That's cool.
That's my number 3.
All right, my number 3 is a game that's been mentioned already. And that is Seven Wonders Duel.
Our first 3-way crossover, and I did not expect it to be on Sam's list, but I did have it for you for sure.
Seven Wonders Duel, of course, again, I've said it. It's a great year for 2-player games. And this is another one that, like Sam said, took Seven Wonders and really kept the vibe, but rewrote the whole thing and did it in a spectacular way. The one thing I really like, which Tom mentioned, is the ways you have to be careful you don't get stumped. So, you have to watch out for somebody going military or somebody getting a bunch of signs and you're not noticing. It puts you on edge.
Right.
You need to be careful with those things. And yes, most games, from my experience anyway, do go to points. But just maybe they'll pull a fast one on you and their military will just wipe you out,
Right.
I think it's a wonderful game. It's one I intend to play for a long, long time. Seven Wonders Duel, awesome, beautiful 2-player version of Seven Wonders. Cool.
All right, surprise us, Sam.
All right, my number
See what
3
we got here.
has been mentioned during this number 3 segment already, and that is Pandemic Legacy.
I didn't put that down for you.
I already enjoy Pandemic less than he does, of course, because that's his favorite game of all time. But again, like Tom said, we've played that game 17 times this year. That almost makes it an absolute choice for a game like this.
I guess if you didn't like it, that would be a horrific experience.
It would. I'd be like calling in sick to this job. That just what? I mean, that's just. So if you play a game 17 times in a year, at least for us, that warrants something of inclusion in a list like this. And that's kind of my ideology here. I did not. It's not that I just didn't dislike it. I really enjoyed all of those days that we spent playing that game. And I just love, and for me, it's the legacy aspect a little bit more, for like Tom said, than the actual pandemic part of it. Pandemic is a good game and I enjoy it, but the legacy aspect, how it's going to throw you curveballs almost around every corner, that's what really made Pandemic Legacy stand out for me, and for a lot of other people too, as it rocketed to number 3 on the BGG list. So
Now, who knows? It might be number 2 at this point, but it's certainly going high.
Just
Yes.
yesterday it was number 3.
Yeah.
So that's Pandemic Legacy, my number 3.
Number 2.
My number 2. Here we're getting into crossover territory here. This has actually not been mentioned. But I
Yeah.
think it's going to be mentioned one more time. My number 2 is Time Stories.
What? I'm so surprised.
Time Stories is it's a very unique game. I was talking when Tom talked about Flick 'em Up. I said it was a very diverse year, and Time Stories exemplifies that to a T. It's a game that there's nothing quite like it out there that I've ever come across. It's a game in which you are cooperating, so it is a cooperative game. But you play the game as a choose-your-own-adventure role-playing, almost. You travel through a story, you discover items and get them. So it's somewhere between a board game and a book and a role-playing session. And it makes this amazing mixture that could have gone horribly wrong, by the way, which I think
Yeah.
is why it's so impressive. That truly stands out as a memorable game, and I think it will do so for years to come. Time Stories is my number 2. Stunning design, stunning game.
All right.
My number 2 is a game that, after the first few times that I
This is the
played
one I
it,
cannot peg. Okay.
I wasn't sure where it was going to fall. But after more playthroughs of it, I knew it was going to be on my list. I didn't know where it was going to fall. I judged his experiences, the experience that I have, against the experience that I have with the other games, and it came out on top. My number 2, same as Z's number 2.
Oh.
Time Stories.
Really?
So, the whole point, like I was saying, if only Asylum had come out, probably wouldn't have made my list. Would have
Right.
made my short list, but it would not have made the cut for 10.
Oh, by the way, I picked you both to pick that game.
Yeah.
So I'm feeling good.
But with the Marcy case coming out, that was what booted it up to top 5.
Right.
And I'm doing that almost as kind of a, not really a precursor, but a foreshadowing, because if that's what they have more planned, I'm all in.
Right.
I'm all in. I wasn't so hooked with the puzzly aspect that Asylum seemed to be really resting heavily upon.
Mm-hmm.
But they came off of that with Marcy Case, and they opened it up and they said, it doesn't have to be just puzzles, it can be all this other stuff too. That's what solidified it for my list. So my number 2, Time Stories.
Nice.
Oh, for the first time ever, we have a 3-way crossover on the same number.
Wow.
My number 2 is also Time Stories.
Dude, that's cool.
See, I thought this was going to be your number 1.
No, it wasn't. I thought about it. But anyway, number 2, Time Stories, easy enough. It has the strongest theme of any game I've ever played, ever. The only way it could be stronger is if we were playing a role-playing game. And even then, I feel like this has been a stronger theme than some role-playing games I've played. I love the choose-your-own-adventure aspect. I love the false trails. I like that it includes combat to some degree, but also includes puzzles. And it all fits together at points you're like, oh, so this over here mattered for over here. It feels like the whole area, like, for example, the second one's in a town. It feels like the town is cohesive. Mm-hmm. This part matches this part. Yep. A character you meet in one spot might show up somewhere else. Love that. Yep. Great game. And I'm really pumped about, if they release one per quarter like you're saying, that means we get to play it 4 times in 2016. That's cool. Yeah. Really cool. And I look forward to it.
And finally, number 1.
I was just.
Here we go. Least climactic ones ever. I have a.
Oh! 1!
Got a 1.
I got a 1 too.
We're the same. What, is that
I'm
premonition?
Winning with a 12. You guys are the same, and I'm different. How about that? All right.
And yours took 12 times? I'm going to change that to a 17.
Why not?
Okay.
So yes, my number one. We'll just go down this way, guys.
Okay.
My number one is, of course, I haven't mentioned it yet. So, Pandemic Legacy. Pandemic Legacy for all the same reasons that.
I think you're the only person in the world who's played through it twice so far, but
No, I'm sure somebody else has done it, but yes, I played through it twice. Thoroughly enjoyed it. Both campaigns.
would you play through it a third time?
Sure, give me some time to forget some stuff, but yeah. See, the thing about it is, which is what Sam was talking about, but I'm kind of in the opposite camp. I really like the game anyway.
Yeah.
So it's not just about the legacy. The game to game, you throw me, now that I know everything, you throw me in a random moment in that timeline without anything else, and I'm probably going to enjoy that game.
Okay, but we like that too. I'm just saying we didn't love Pandemic as much as you. I still like Pandemic a lot. I think it's a great game.
When I say that I really enjoyed playing through it again. Because while the surprises were not there, that's true, the game to game is fascinating and challenging and interesting, and you have to make important choices, and you get attached to characters, and man, it's just a captivating experience, which you play over multiple games, yes. But I'd do it again. It's like a great movie.
I think I could do it again. I just have to wait a while because I do remember some stuff from there very strongly, so I like to let that fade out.
Yes. So my number one, Pandemic Legacy. I was psyched about this game when I first heard about it. This was like over a year ago, I think. And it certainly lived up to the hype. Number one.
Now, I have not been correct about Sam for much of this list, but I am correct on his number one because Sam brings this game to every meetup these days.
I do not.
It seems you bring it to a lot.
A lot.
Ooh, love it.
And you hardly ever bring games and then like, hey, who's playing this? That's normally Sam's like, I'll play what you guys bring out. So anyway, for us, it's the same game. I know it is, and that's Blood Rage.
Yep.
From Cool Mini or Not. I debated with. I really like Time Stories and Pandemic Legacy. It was a hard top three, but Blood Rage wins out because it's just a fascinating thing. I like the drafting. I like the combat. I like that you can win in combat and do well, and you can lose in combat and do well,
Yes.
and you have to decide what you're going to do.
Yes.
I love that you can have giant monsters that mean something. They're not just placeholders. They actually go around and beat up on people.
Yes.
And this is, again, all playing this off of a non-Kickstarter version.
Without all the extras.
Without all that extra stuff, which I still haven't played with, and I still really like this game. I think that once this game hits even more wide circulation, we're starting to see that slowly happen now, it's going to shoot up in the rankings too, because this is a game that I think appeals across the board. I mean, even Z liked it. We're going back to that old Life commercial. Look, even Z likes Blood Rage.
No, it's true. It's true, and it is not. And I did not like, or I don't gravitate towards any of those big games, all the Star Wars games.
But you know what? Like I said, it's not that big.
Right, that's what I'm saying. It's big in scope.
It looks big.
But it's got Euro sensibilities.
Definitely comes in a big box.
Oh, and also Vikings. Yay.
Yeah, Vikings.
Yeah.
See, my thing with Blood Rage, the reason it made my top list is not just because it's a great game and not just because I enjoy it, but I'm really enjoying the fact that Cool Mini or Not is really kind of breaking down some barriers within the gaming community. It did not used to be. If it has great miniatures, it's a horrible game. The miniatures might look good, but the game is not as fun.
Or it's only for a select group of people who like miniature rules and things like that.
Cool Mini or Not is doing this thing, hey, we've got great miniatures and we've got a great game. Come check this out. And that's one of the reasons why it made my list, because it's just breaking down these barriers. No longer can you assume that it's a mediocre game just because it has great miniatures. Now you actually have to play through the game and make the decision after you've played the game. And that's what I liked about Blood Rage. It brought the game part to miniature gaming. And that's what I really enjoyed about it. I love the miniatures. I love miniature games. But now we have a whole world kind of that's opening up that Cool Mini or Not and Fantasy Flight's doing it too now, because they're still kicking out the great miniatures, where you have a great game that also has great miniatures. So could not make my list. Blood Rage, my number 1.
Good time to be a board gamer. Let's
Yes,
just say
it
that.
Let's talk about games that I thought were on your list.
Okay.
Okay, Z, I thought you'd pick New York 1901.
No, that'd be in the teens somewhere.
I thought you would pick Elysium.
Oh. Honorable mention.
Okay. I thought you would pick Automania.
No, that's
okay.
also in the teens somewhere, though. I really enjoyed it.
Risk Star Wars. I thought you liked it enough that it might pop in your top 10.
That was on my surprises list.
Right, which is why I wasn't.
I couldn't remember which what. Yeah, okay. I thought that. Let's see. Roman Bones. I got right. Shakespeare. Forbidden Stars. I thought for sure would be on your list. Another honorable mention.
Honorable mention, yeah.
I thought. Let's see. Blah blah. Roll for the Galaxy. I thought you would pick Roll for the Galaxy actually.
No, and that would be even higher. That might be in the 20s.
Oh, okay. Well then.
My number 11 would have been Gold West.
Okay.
It's on my surprises list.
Well, that's 3 crossovers though that were on all 3 lists. Time Stories, Blood Rage, and
Pandemic.
oh no, 4. Pandemic Legacy, and then Seven Wonders Duel.
That's right.
So we had 4.
Triple crossover.
Wow. It's like,
But I wanted to mention 2 more of my honorable mentions. I didn't include them because they were reprints.
and that's why I didn't pick either one of
That's
those
why
for
I
you.
didn't pick either one. Either Fury of Dracula and Mission Red Planet. If you,
Yes.
they were out of. Was Mission Red Planet out of print?
Yes, they were both out
They
of
were
print.
both out of print. So those are games that you may not have gotten in on the first edition. If you can get in on the 3rd edition, you need to, because these are great games that will, I think, be classic evergreens.
Yeah, I really think all of my top 10 will still be in my collection in 10 years. That's how good it was. But we're going to talk about the year as a whole next week, so come back then, and we'll tell you some more stuff then. Until then, I'm Tom Vassell.
Z Garcia, thank you.
Sam Healy, see you on the flip side.